3, 2, 1. And we're live.
And we're still not live. Hello, sister friend. How are you?
You know how I am. I just about threw my laptop through a window trying to get my freaking. I couldn't. Your face wouldn't pop up forever, and so I tried on my phone. I tried on this. I tried on that. I finally restart my computer, and then I can't hear Kinsey, which happened along the way. And then luckily we found out that her mic was muted, and it was also like not plugged in.
Look, the quality of this show, low, not good. The amount of work we put in for this show is so insane for how bad the quality is. Like, we just
And
spent
that's the
40
sad reality.
minutes setting all of this up, literally for the lowest quality video on YouTube right now.
You look like a potato to me, but that's fine. That's in the FaceTime, so.
I look like a potato all the time. Also, I have like these hopes and dreams of like having a better camera than just like my Mac from 2020. Um, but we're working with our low budget. So
What phone do you have?
15,
Oh geez. I thought we were at like 10.
14, maybe
Yeah,
the
14.
14. It's
Yeah,
the
I don't know.
old charging cable. It's the
Ethel.
old lightning bolt.
So where do you want. Can you hear my dog?
I can.
Ethel. It's oh my gosh. I don't want to make you have to edit out a section this early on in this premium content, but I think I'm getting a delivery,
We have so
or
many things to
something.
talk about. The
We
sweet
have so
potato.
many. You don't even know about the gushing water in my basement.
Oh, I know about the
Oh,
gushing water and the hole you have to dig to relieve it. I know.
listen,
I know about the leak.
listen. When the plumber today was like, "It's something we could do this summer," I blacked out after that. My brain went on autopilot because I was like, "Okay, well, I'm not going to remember till this summer what we need to do." And also, it's not a problem for today's Zoe, so I'm not going to listen to this.
That's so funny. Yes, Dad filled me in today. I call him on my walk homes, and he let me know all about your basement leak. Um, I'm a mother of a Tamagotchi. Haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah,
Killed
I
it.
do have
I'm
questions.
on my third life. It's
Yeah, so
actually
is
we
it
do
the
split time between Eleanor and I, and so the Tamagotchi is currently at Eleanor's house, but
who has a better track record of keeping it alive?
I've killed it once and Eleanor's killed it once.
Nice.
But
So it's
yes,
on its third life.
yeah,
Okay.
we're on Rebecca the third.
Rebecca, nice. And is it the exact same thing as the Tamagotchi, or have they like reimagined it?
No, literally the exact
It's
same
literally the
thing.
exact same thing. And what is the point? Does it poop or something?
It
Do you have to
does,
feed it?
yeah. So yeah, you just it has like levels of happiness, discipline, hungriness, and you just like try to maintain its levels. And it can die for a whole sort of thing. So it died on my watch because I got sick and I slept for 19 hours and I didn't feed it for 19 hours and it died. Eleanor's
It actually seems like that would be the best time
Eleanor
to make sure
overfed
it
it.
lived. You can
Turns out you
overfeed
can
it.
overfeed it too. Um, so we're learning so much from children on the internet about our Tamagotchi. Also, very fun fact about Eleanor, she's on the work soccer team, and she's at her very first soccer match tonight, and she brought Rebecca the third to the soccer field.
Nice. That seems fun. Um, for my fun, I've been watching this show, Sweet Magnolia. I tried it like months ago, and I was like, this is not for me. But then I went to North Carolina, and Southern Hospitality just got a hold of me, and my friend Kylie's
Mhm.
been watching it, and she's like, it's the best show because like nothing serious is happening, and you can like leave the room for a half an hour and
Is
come
it
back and
reality
like
TV or is it scripted?
no, it's scripted. It's like it's giving Gilmore Girls, but it's like three best friends in a southern town. But like the
Fascinating.
issues are never big issues. It's like the
Mm-hmm.
town won't approve our zoning for the parking lot. For the
Yeah.
spa we run together, what shall we do?
That like
Um,
turning on Gilmore Girls because like all of their issues are like so non-issues. And I'm
yeah,
like, wow,
I
goals.
I was at the doctor today and they couldn't get my blood pressure to go down, but they were the problem. Do you want me to get into it or no?
Yes, because I have something to say about doctors.
Okay, so my doctor, which I don't want to talk negatively about my doctor. I love this woman. She's fantastic. But they send me like 17 text messages being like, you gotta be at your appointment 15 minutes early. Also, you need to fill out all of this pre appointment information. You know what I didn't do this time? Fill out any of the pre appointment information. You know what they never asked for? Any information. So I'm never doing that again. And so they insist that you be 15 minutes early. So I
Hmm.
get there 15 minutes early, which is at 7:45. Now, is it my fault that I wasn't wearing a winter coat when it was 30 degrees out? Yes. But I walked to the door. Oh, it's locked. The lights are off. Interesting, because I'm here when you texted me literally seconds ago, being like, have you arrived at your appointment? They sent an automated message that was like, have you arrived? And
Can
I
I
was like,
ask what doctor? Is this a dermatologist? Is this a...
oh no, this is my general practitioner who I
Okay,
get my um,
got it.
ADHD medication from,
Okay. Your
among
GP.
other things. Yes. And so then I'm like, I don't want to walk back out to my car because I'm also like, okay, well maybe they're running a few minutes late. Maybe they'll open this door any time. And also, I don't want to go out to my car and then wait 15 minutes and then be like, we've been open. Well, no, they opened 2 minutes before 8, which means I've stood with just a sweatshirt on, no t-shirt underneath it, and in jeans in 30-degree weather for 15 minutes. I'm like doing
You should
breathing
have gone to
exercise.
your car. That's insane.
100%, but it was like this whole sunk cost, and then it was me just being mad. But like the only person that was affected was me. So anyway, so I get in there, and then I get called back to the office 15 minutes after my appointment. So I've been there for a half an hour now for no reason. And I walk back, and the first thing they do is take your weight, which just makes me mad because none of my business. And there's my doctor walking in with her winter coat on and her lunchbox, saying hi to everyone. I'm like, oh, interesting. You said I had to be here a half an hour ago, and you're rolling up 15 minutes after my appointment. And I'm the first appointment of the day, so it can't be like, oh, she's running behind. No, I should have picked this woman up all the way to the doctor's office.
Hey, next time let's carpool.
So anyway, so then I get to my office, into my office, into my room,
This is
and
my doctor's appointment
yeah,
now.
and they're like, "So, what are you here for?" And like, I always just do like every 3 months checkup for the medication I'm on, which has ruined my life because the FAA was like, "You can't be a drone pilot because of the medication that you're on." And so I called them 2 weeks ago, and I was like, "Hey, I need you to write all this documented. You need to
Hmm.
type out all of this information for the drone people." And they're like, "That sounds great." And like the lady like triple checked like what I had said to like make sure that she got all that information. Well, in my
Hmm.
hurry to run to the doctor's office, I grabbed the wrong 2-page piece of paper from the FAA that was explaining how I needed to redo a different document. And so I didn't have that
Hmm.
information with me, but I was like, I know it's in your system. I know it's in your system. But anyway, so they're taking my blood pressure as I'm telling them like, oh, I need this stuff. But like, I know some lady, like she kept writing down, like she repeated it back to me like 3 times to make sure she had everything copied down correctly.
Hmm.
I know it's in your system. And I'm like, and I paid $30,000 for this drone and all these things. And like, they're taking my blood pressure and they're like, okay, we can't take that reading
Yeah.
because that wasn't right. But my oxygen levels 100%. And the lady was like, "Wow, you know, like 100% is the goal, but you never see that." And I was like, "I don't even know what that means, but cool."
Hmm.
So my oxygen was great. And then like later on during the appointment, they tried to take my blood pressure again, and I tried to take some deep breaths, but like they just didn't even tell me what the numbers were.
Hmm.
They're like, "We're just gonna disregard this."
Oh.
Because like I don't have blood pressure issues, except for in that moment. Um, but anyway, I have my typed up letter that I mailed off today to the FAA, being like, she's on medication and she's fine. Besides, her blood pressure is crazy. You guys are the reason. She
Yeah,
has any
wow.
medical issues, it'll be you, the FAA. So sorry, that was a huge tangent for no
I also
reason.
have a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning at the crack of dawn. I have to be there at 8:45. It starts at 9. I hope my doctor's already there. She usually is. I'm normally the first patient of the day. I don't choose that. I mean, like that's just like what I got one time, and I see this doctor every 3 months, and now every 3 months I'm always at 8:45 in the morning, and like it does not need to be that way.
It
But it's just
doesn't
like
have to
every
be.
time I'm like checking out, I'm like, "Yep, I gotta be back in 3 months." They're like, "Same time," and I'm like, "Sure." So that's stupid. Like I wish I could do like 9:45.
Yeah.
But it's a big one for me. So
Drum roll.
asthma. And I've been dealing with asthma for a year, and I'm currently on 3 different inhalers. I'm on two regular. I take one inhaler every morning, every night. I take a second inhaler every morning, and then I have an emergency inhaler. And I'm at the highest dosage of like two of these inhalers. So I'm like getting max asthma treatment. And
Oh, it probably wasn't very nice of me to talk about my 100% oxygen.
I know my oxygen level is probably like 4. Um, but we're if I'm worse tomorrow, I have to start getting either weekly or monthly shots, and I really don't want to do that. As stated, I hate going to the doctor, and also that sounds really expensive. And like,
Yes.
I'm like not trying to have to pay for that. So fingers crossed, everything looks normal tomorrow. But yeah, that's exciting, I guess.
And will you know in real time, or will they like take tests that they'll? Okay,
Yeah, because
nice.
like a year ago, well, no, like 8 months ago, she's like, this is a possibility, probably won't happen. 6 months ago, she's like, okay, I'm going to talk to you about something that might happen in the future. And then 3 months ago, she was like, we're not going to do it now, but in 3 months, we might need to do this thing. Um, so
Interesting. She like eased you into it.
she really
Interesting.
did. I
Huh.
forget what they're called, but yeah, they help like treat it on like a deeper level. Um,
Really getting in there into the subcutaneous.
well, and
Interesting.
she speaks in such medical talk,
Mm.
and she'll be like, "Oh, well, in the asthma community," and I'm like, "No, I don't know the asthma community.
I'm not.
I
I don't
I
feel a
don't
part of my
I don't
community.
know like the research that they're doing right now for um asthma.
Oh, I
What?
guess I was. I was thinking about the community of people who are also asthma sufferers, not like the
Oh, no,
community
no,
that
like the
is
medical
researching.
community.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
that
they're
makes
like the
so much
people
more
that are
sense.
like learning about asthma. And I'm like, no, I
Yeah.
don't have my ear to that asthma community.
Yeah. Huh. Wild. I got a tetanus shot, and my shoulder feels like a brick.
Oh, and also our connection's unstable, but I'm gonna choose to ignore that.
Choose to ignore that. Fine. Recording. So I went to a wedding last 2 weekends ago. Wanted to talk about that.
Yes, your last of your college
Yes.
roommates is Maddie.
Oh, I thought you were saying her name was Maddie. I was like, her name's not Maddie, but yes.
No, she's Maddie.
Married. Yes. First off, I wanted to say, I thought it was iconic. Half of us had our dresses off of Facebook Marketplace or Poshmark, which I just love because like everyone knows you're buying this dress to wear once. What's the likelihood that you're in another wedding where you have to wear the same color? People are like, you can wear it to another event. No, everyone who's wearing a bridesmaid's dress looks like they're wearing a bridesmaid's dress. It'd be weird to show up to a different wedding in a bridesmaid's dress. Um, so anyway, like Kylie had gotten a dress and then she didn't really wasn't loving it. We went to like some random girl's house the day before the wedding, picked up a different dress. One girl, she bought like 4 dresses off of Poshmark. She had like she had outfit changes she could do if she wanted to do it. And I loved this for us because like I got my dress for 20 bucks plus shipping. And it just felt so great because it's like you always buy this like $100 dress. And also, I bought one that was my exact height with heels,
Yeah,
so
that's
I didn't
so
have to go get it
nice.
altered someplace, which was iconic. So that was the first thing I wanted to mention. The second thing I wanted to mention was that Nicole is a crazy person. Like, in the fact, like, this was such a, like, they had so many intimate touches, and it was like they had this letter that did this thing. They had a sense, so she picked her scent, he picked his scent. They went to a perfumist and got these things. They go together well, and then they got a candle made in their combined scent that
Wow.
was like being burned around the place. Like they did
Wow.
all these things, but this girl just tells the band, "Oh, just pick a song for when I walk down the aisle." Oh, just pick a song. Surprise me. I've never heard that from anyone before. I thought it was wild and it was beautiful.
That
They
is
did that like
crazy.
a
What
thousand.
did you walk down the aisles to?
This is the funny thing.
Was it just like classic, like
No, it
bridal?
was so first when we had our meeting with the wedding person, they were loving everything that Tanner was putting out. Like Tanner was like naming songs and they're like, "Yes, yes, uh-huh. Love that band. You have great taste in music." And then I was like, "I don't know, maybe I'll just do like the Here Comes the Bride." And the DJ literally goes, "Oh." Like so disappointed. And I was like, I don't know. It just seemed like a
Okay.
classic maybe. But then I was like, okay, I'll
Yeah.
rethink it. So I did the, is it Wildest Dreams from Taylor Swift? I don't know, an instrumental.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but also they just like, they did harsh changes in music. My DJ did, like it was like start,
Mm-hmm.
stop randomly on all these things. And it was like, just let it
Yeah.
fade out or something. I don't know. So I didn't,
Yeah. Eleanor also did a
yeah.
Taylor Swift
But anyway,
instrumental. But that's like my pet
uh,
peeve is when like they just like stop the
and then they
music.
just like switch
Like,
a different one. Like you're a
yeah, I
DJ.
hate that. No, exactly. Like fade it in and
Yeah.
out. It's okay if we get a little
A
extra
little,
music in the
yeah.
background.
Just,
Like you don't need to be like, oh, she's at the top.
yeah. So bizarre. Anyway, I was listening to that song. What's it called? Shoot, it's everywhere. It's the second bridesmaid running down the aisle. Have you seen that trend on TikTok?
Oh,
What's that song? It's
yes.
not Ordinary. Is it Ordinary?
It is.
Yeah.
It is
Okay.
ordinary.
I had that song stuck in my head and I was thinking about how much I like that song while the instrumental version of the Taylor Swift song that I picked for my wedding, like I was literally thinking like, oh, this would have been a perfect song to like walk down the aisle to. And then ironically in the background, I was like, wait, this is a song I walked down the aisle to. But
That's funny.
yeah, I love that song. I have it stuck in my head all the time now. And oh, and the
This is the TikTok
yes,
reference if you
the
don't get
guy
it.
who was in charge of everyone walked out, the priest, the person who married them, he was like, think about walking slow and then walk slower for like having us go down the aisle. I thought that was like
Yeah,
really funny. Um,
that is
but yeah,
funny.
I don't know. It was a great day. We were 2 hours ahead of schedule the entire day.
You're the only people. Actually, Eleanor's wedding, we were a little ahead of schedule, but 2 hours is
It was
crazy.
it,
Like normally people are like running
Yeah,
late.
so the hair and makeup people got there 45 minutes early, and then they were just like on a mission to crank people out. Like it was just like boom, 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 boom,
Hmm.
boom. And then so then like and they were like contracted to stay. And so then they were just like hanging out and doing like retouch ups on people that like we didn't even necessarily need. And just hanging out. And then we all sat around and all watched Nicole get her full hair done and then watched her get her full makeup done because we were like, we have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Um, and then it was like, well, we're done here. And the photo person was there. She got all the shots she needed. And she's like, well, we could just go to the park where we're going to take photos.
The photo that Nicole posted,
Okay, because we
stunning.
were 2 hours early, and maybe just this photographer is iconic and is always like so prompt, had photos, they had like 6 photos to her by the time we sat down for dinner, like professionally edited, ready to be put up
Hmm.
on the gram. It was amazing. Like it showed, like it was, and like also like she had like really like dark and moody ones, and she had like light and airy ones. Like it was like tons of like range. I was very impressed, and she was
Yeah, I
fun to work out
loved
with.
her
Yeah,
photo.
I was very impressed. And then the live band, my throat still hasn't recovered from them playing Pink Pony Girl. Like just so good. I think that's the second wedding I've been to where there was a live band, and
Hmm. And do you like the band more than the
I liked
DJ?
this band more than DJ for sure. At the other one, we just
Hmm.
weren't really on the dance floor. They had like too many outside activities that we were doing, and we were like just hanging and
Hmm.
talking to friends and stuff. So we weren't really like engaged on the dance floor, but we were locked in on the dance floor at this wedding. I'm sure if anyone didn't know me and they saw the way in which I was dancing, they'd be like, wow, this girl is blitzed out of her mind. But I really wasn't at all. We were just having so much fun, like
You're just
being
really feeling
silly,
the chapel
being
road.
silly gooses. Alexa did
That's
Alexa did
so
her
fun.
signature split like 8 times. She loves to just bust down right into a split.
Your whole friend group is just so fun.
Yes.
Like it's like every wedding I'm sure would be so fun
There was a
because
moment where I was like,
just like every time you guys are together, it's
there
just a
was a
good
moment where
time.
I was like, man, I really wish I had spandex on right now so I could have bust out a back handspring like that. Like we were doing dance circle, like it was a fun time. Um,
Ah, that's
but yeah,
great. And now you're like kind of you have one more
yes,
wedding, but
next
then I feel like all your friends are
yeah next
married.
next weekend, and then everyone's married, and then it'll be you, and then everyone I've
Yeah.
ever met will have been married. So
I know. See, I still feel like I have a lot of friends have yet to get married, so I have a lot of weddings in my
yeah, when is
future.
the wedding that you have in your future?
October.
October, this October. Ooh,
Yes.
fun, fun, fun.
Um, but yeah, I don't have like a lot of my friends are just like
That's
not
because
seriously dating
that's also
anybody.
because you don't live in the Midwest. Because your friends who
Yeah.
live in the
Well, yeah,
Midwest are
because all
getting
my friends
married.
in the Midwest are already
Yeah,
married.
yeah. All your friends already got married that were here.
Yeah.
Um,
I know. I had two weddings when I was in college, which is
yeah, that is
crazy.
crazy.
Um, I can't even imagine planning a wedding. Like that feels far away from me. Also, I spend my whole day planning things.
I'm not over recovering from planning my
I
wedding, so
just,
we have to wait
yeah.
a long time for years. I'm sorry.
Well, and everyone I know is having a bad time of it. They do not enjoy
No.
planning the
Well, this
wedding.
is the thing. If you have a 30,
So that's not like really selling me. I'm not like, oh
yeah.
yeah, I really can't
If
wait
you
to
have a
do
30
this.
person wedding or a 300-person wedding, you still have to make the same amount of decisions. And
Hmm.
like, even if you decide to not make a decision, like my friend Emily, like decided like, hey, we're not going to mail out invitations. Well, she still had to like make an email thing to then email out. And like, it's
Hmm.
like, you can't get out of the basic planning. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just like, I think it's just like overload. I would be curious to ask like the older generation because much of them are like, it was just in the church and then in the church basement and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but like, were you still
Yeah.
stressed? Like, I would like to know
Oh,
the
I
stress
know. I
level.
would be curious too because I manage the volunteers at work and a lot of their grandchildren are getting married. This like uh, in this
Yeah.
year, next year. And they always talk about how like it's such a big to do now. And when they were getting married, they would do it at the small local, place and not all churches, but like like little venues
Yeah.
and they would do like simple catering and stuff. But like that's still kind of what people are doing
It's just
today.
more expensive and then also like the bachelorette party, like people were not going on like trips
Yeah,
and like I do
that's
feel like it's
true.
just like in terms of inflation, yes, it's gotten more expensive, but it's also just gotten inflated in like the things that are expected and like
I
like
know. I feel like
even
bachelorette trips have seriously changed in the
fully.
last like 10, 15
Yes.
years. Because like mom's was like a night out in
Which is what
Columbus,
mine was as well. But like I've
which,
gone on at least two where it's
but
like
yeah, it's like, but some
a
people
trip
are
trip.
like taking big trips, like expensive vacations. Um, and I think like more of the just going out was like the norm, whereas now I think it's very normal to have like at least a small
Yeah, well, and
trip.
it's like a trip, and it's like matching outfits or coordinating outfits, and like
Hmm.
all of the things.
And like it's like mini
Yeah,
days
yeah,
and themed things
yes.
and wigs and
I've never done one where I
costumes.
have to wear a costume or a wig. We just had like wear this like we had like matching shirts at one, and we've had like coordinating like wear something blue, wear something this or whatever,
Hmm.
and it's fun. Like I'm not complaining, but it is just
I'm very excited for my bachelorette. Again, years away from that, but like I feel like that's like of all the planning and things, I think a trip with like my six closest friends sounds like the best time ever.
yeah, I don't know. Like I
Like,
for me and mine, like it was just like oh, I really want to hang out with my high school friends. Oh, I really want to hang out with my college friends. And like everyone was together and all hanging out, but it was like, I can't listen to these three different conversations at the same time. And that stressed me out because it was like, I would sit in the
Yeah.
middle of the table and be like, wait, which conversation am I paying attention to?
Yeah. But how fun is it to see your like friends
Very fun.
meeting
Yeah.
and
Yeah. And then
stuff?
like when I was like telling them like, oh, I'm going to Emily's wedding, like they're like, they know who Emily is. And yeah, that part is very fun too, for sure. Um, would you like to hear about North Carolina?
Oh my gosh, yes. Tell me all about the sweet
Okay, so the
potatoes.
sweet potatoes.
I didn't know it was one word.
I didn't either. Well, if you like type it into your phone, it's not. That's the thing. They're
Oh.
trying to get it to be one word, or it is in
Oh.
some contexts, but it's like a common. Like it's not like I just was type. I was making a typo, but so
It's crazy that like to some of these people, this is their whole world.
yes.
And to me, it's just like a delicious
Yes. Well,
side.
and I love a sweet potato too. And like I was shocked by the amount of people who were working deeply in sweet potatoes. They're like, I didn't really like sweet potatoes. I'm like, I came out of the womb liking sweet
The
potatoes.
way I thought everyone was passionate about
Yes.
them.
Well, and like they're very passionate about them, but they didn't come to North Carolina to talk about sweet potatoes because they love their love of sweet potatoes. So anyway, do you know like if you had a guess, how do you think like a person grows a sweet potato? For context, I had
Um,
no idea, and I going in, I didn't research it because I wanted to learn straight from the source.
I know, I know potatoes grow in the ground, but they don't have like a seed because they're not a fruit. They're a vegetable, so they start with a plant.
I don't think that's just
Uh,
like because okay,
I mean, I
okay,
have no
okay,
idea. I'm
okay.
just
I just don't. Yeah, go on. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
because they're a vegetable, so don't they grow
You,
like a
no, you're
carrot?
totally right. But are you telling me that carrots don't have seeds? Are, are
No, carrots don't have
all vegetables
seeds.
grow from asexual reproduction of having another vegetable?
Wait, now I'm thinking, because
No, because
vegetables
like
do
a
have seeds.
pumpkin, or is the pumpkin a fruit? I don't
No,
know.
yeah, no. Well,
And
oh my
I don't need to put
Wait,
you
no,
on the
because I'm thinking like
spot.
a bell pepper definitely has seeds and it's a vegetable. So I disregard my seed statement. I was thinking like corn, but corn's also a vegetable. So it does start from a seed. I think it starts from a seed, and the seed makes a plant, and the plant makes the potato. And then you dig the potato out of the
Okay, you
earth.
you were I'm sorry. I didn't mean to misguide you. You were right from the beginning. Like it does grow from itself. Like I just when you were starting to say that, I was like, wait, all vegetables grow from themselves and they don't have seeds. So that's where I started to get really
I
confused.
can't believe I just said on the internet vegetables don't have
No, but
seeds.
you were like, but you started out correct. Like
I got to that methodology because you know how like some like fruits have pits and vegetables
yeah,
don't have pits. That's where the methodology
yeah.
came from.
No,
But I know that vegetables have seeds.
do they? Bell
Yes, a
pepper.
bell pepper has a
Okay, a bell
seed.
pepper is definitely a fruit and a vegetable.
Okay, anyways. Wait, so you need a potato to
Okay,
grow a potato?
okay,
I did
okay,
not know
yeah.
that.
So a potato makes the plants make the potatoes, and the potatoes make the plants.
So how did we get our first
I
ever
have no
potato?
idea. And then they kept saying seeds, and so then I kept being like, "What do you mean?" And eventually they're like,
Wait, the potato is the
"Yeah." So the
seed.
potato is the seed, because they were saying that well, we do have seed
It's
salesmen,
like an
and I was like, "What are
avocado.
you
It's like
talking about?" So anyway, so like on the potato, there's like an eye at the potato, and apparently when you plant normal potato plants, like you cut it off and you like dice them into the different eyes. This, you just stick the whole sweet potato in the ground, and then on all the shoots that grow up, you cut those, and then you replant them, and then they grow sweet potatoes, and those sweet potatoes make shoots, and then you cut those off, and they make like so it's just like exponential growth because
okay.
they're
So
saying
yeah, okay. Because
one potato can make
otherwise
like 10 things and those
shoots in those
in those
shoots.
shoots you can graft off like pieces of them, stick them in the dirt,
Okay, so it's not like you need one potato to make one potato. You need
make
one
10
potato to make like
potatoes, and
10
10 potatoes make
potatoes.
100 Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And so
Okay. That sounds more
yes. And so some
economical.
people start them in the ground. And so they just like take sweet potatoes, they lay them out of line, and then they put like water and dirt over top of them and then plastic on them. And then unclear when the plastic comes off, but it comes off and then the uh, shoots go up and then you cut them off and then you replant them and then those make the potatoes that you plant. Or you start them in greenhouses, kind of in the same process, but in the greenhouse you can be
Okay.
more hands-on. There's less, you have more things under your control. And then you plant the shoots individually. So all the farms I went to have a bunch of HSA workers, H2A workers, which are like all these people were from Mexico. They come for like 10-month contracts. You have to house them, you have to give them transportation, and you either have to provide meals for them or you have to provide a space for them to make meals. And so like the first farm I went to, they have 75 workers a year. One place I went to, they had like 180 workers a year. And so it's like it's this
Wow.
massive thing. And they were like very thankful for these people because they were like, we could not get this done without them because it's very hands-on. And so they're physically
Yes.
placing, they call them slips, which are the cuttings of the potatoes into the ground. And then they have to manually, so like when,
Yeah, it's very
yeah, and when they pick
manual.
them up, they have to grade them based on their different size, and then you can also like put them in a sorter thing. But like you have to like physically, be doing a lot of labor. Um, and then they store them in these cooling sheds. Well, okay, so first you pick them, and then you have to cure them. And so curing them is you have 4 to 7 days at 80 to 85 degree temperatures, at 80 to 90% relative humidity. So you get them all warm and humid and stuff. And that makes the outside hard, and the inside it changes the starches into sugars. That makes it sweeter. And then you can store them for a long time, for like easily up to a year. And these bins, which are like just all these like pallets with like these tubs
Mm-hmm.
of, yeah,
Sides.
of
Yeah.
potatoes in them. And then they all have like slats in them so you can like blow air conditioning through them to keep them cool, like you would in like a root
Nice.
cellar.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then to the places I went, they like do all the grading and shorting and they ship them out. So like the one place they sell to like Publix is their big one, and they have Giant Eagle, and they have a
Mm-hmm.
couple places in Ohio, but they ship domestically and internationally, and the other place did too. And I don't know, it was very impressive, and it was like very different. Like my like farm, it's like we have, me, Dad, JD, a handful of people year round. Like at these farms, it was like I was talking to the one girl who's like, I'm just in charge of HR, like, or I'm just in charge of payroll. It's
Mm-hmm.
like
They're
they're
like
like massive
massive
operations, yes,
operations.
that are all of these were family owned, but like very much like, oh,
Just on a
I
huge
work at the farm
scale.
is very
Yeah.
different than what my work looks like, just because row crop is so different. But like all of these people, so they have like a 4 variety rotation. That's tobacco, cotton, sweet potatoes, and then soybeans, and then some people do like a little bit of corn.
Mhm.
But because sweet potatoes are like, they are asexual reproductive things, they get like viruses and stuff, and you really need that crop rotation in there for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so they just have lots and lots of hands-on things. Cotton's like less
Interesting.
hands-on.
So like they're kind of
Yes.
finicky.
And so
Interesting.
like North Carolina is great because they have that same relative humidity around the same time. So that, and then also
Mm-hmm.
you need a sandy soil, which you can get sand trucked in, but like their soil allows for the potatoes to grow underground because you need not a hard
Yeah.
compact soil where it doesn't have room to grow.
Right.
So
So it's nice to have naturally occurring
yeah,
sandy
what do you think
soil.
you call the like ideal size sweet potato?
Should I like be comparing it to an object?
No, it just has a name.
Oh, um, the wonder
No,
potato.
it's like number one. It's like a number one sweet
Uh,
potato, and but then the big ones are called, yeah,
they should be called the
yeah,
wonder
yeah. The big
potatoes.
ones are called jumbos, and then the small ones
Oh,
are called canners
jumbos.
because they go into like
Oh, they should be
canned food
teenies.
and stuff. And like also like sometimes those ones
Mm,
will go to seed. But then I was like thinking, it's like, oh well, don't you want the like the most ideal one? But then it's like that's not really how it works. I don't know. But like the
yeah.
jumbo ones are like they might be double the size of the ideal one, but they're half the price because they can't sell it as like the individual potato, but it can go into like chips or baby food or
That's the
stuff like
funny
that.
thing about yams. They vary largely in
Yeah. Oh, and so
size.
this is the thing about yams is so there is
Is a yam not a sweet potato, or is a yam a sweet
a yam
potato?
is a sweet potato, and a sweet potato is a yam, but it's also not. So like we call them yams. Like there's one company that's in that town that literally is called like Hams Yams or something. It's like they had a last name that like rhymed with yam, and so it made sense for marketing,
Yeah.
and like people just use it. But
Imagine if you had pigs and also fruit and you sold hams, yams, and jams.
we need to start a business. Write it down. Have
Marketing!
your people call my people. um, I can grow hams. I don't know about jams
Yams
or
and jams.
yams. Um, Iconic. But what? Oh, so there's a yam that grew in Africa, and when enslaved people came over, the closest thing they had to that was a sweet potato, and so then they just called sweet potatoes yams, and
Hmm.
then, but they're different. But like, what they're referring to is a sweet potato, if that makes sense.
Okay, that
So
is
so it just stuck
fascinating because I
around.
do know in like predominantly like black communities when they have Thanksgiving, they always call their sweet potatoes
Yeah.
yams, when they're usually sweet
Yes,
potatoes.
but if you go to this,
And so that has like
yeah, and if you
origins
go to the
and
store and you say
interesting.
sweet potato or yams, like 99% it's going to be a sweet potato or sweet potato. It's the same
Mm-hmm.
thing, but like a yam is a thing, but it's like really barky and it can get like huge or something.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Interesting.
but
Truly learning
and
something
they
every
really
day.
wanted to have sweet potato be one word because like you could say like it's a yellow potato, it's a blue potato, and like a sweet potato is a different thing than a normal
Mm-hmm.
potato.
A purple
Like it's
potato.
closer to, there's a certain flour. There's a flour that the sweet potato is more similar to than like a potato. A marigold,
Oh,
peony, I don't
okay.
know. There's, but basically just being like, they're very different things, but it's not a potato that's sweet. And so they want sweet potato to be one word because it's not describing the potato.
Okay, I see. They are, yes, they're distancing themselves from the
Yes.
russets.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. They don't want to be associated
what's
and
your favorite? What's your favorite type of potato?
uh,
Not to completely discredit what this person just was trying to teach
yes.
us about sweet potatoes not being a type of potato. What's your favorite? I have to say mine, actually, I love them all. I love a russet potato. I love a red skin potato. I love a
If
yellow
okay, so
potato.
okay, if you couldn't put any condiment, any butter, any flavoring on, if you had to eat one potato, it could be baked or cooked, but like you can't put anything on it. What potato are you going with?
I think a red
Me too.
skin.
Me too. But like, I'm not gonna get a red skin potato out and try to have like my chili with it from Wendy's. Like, no, that's
Well, of
not how
course,
it.
that's reserved for a
That's not
russet.
how this works.
Well, and it's because russet potatoes, perfect baked potato. It's your baked potat. But like whenever I have red skin potatoes, I only think about the lemon red skin potatoes mom used to make us as kids.
The
It
best.
was literally just like baked
Red skin
red
potatoes,
skin potato with
butter,
like a
lemon.
lemony
But then what? I don't
parsley
know
or
because I was
something.
like, okay, what was the green herb on it? And I couldn't think of what
It
herb
was a
it would
green herb.
fit because it didn't feel like it was like that potent of a taste for me to like be like, oh, this is what it is.
You know what time it
Text
is.
mom time.
Oh, she's in a massage.
Mm.
What green herb was in that lemon red skin potato dish?
Oh yeah, I did red skin potatoes on a. I just roasted them and some. What's that like sausage stuff that you cut up? I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Sausage.
I threw all these things into the oven and then and it was like vegetables and a potato. And then I was like, checked it 20 minutes later and I was like, this potato is going to be raw for the next 45 hours while everything else disintegrates in here. So I individually,
Oh, chives.
oh,
It was just
chives,
chives.
iconic. I took my whole
We
roast
need an
thing.
iconic tracker. You've said iconic like 10
Sorry.
times in this
I took
episode.
my whole baking thing and individually picked out all of these red skin potatoes and then I quickly boiled them and then threw them back on. And then it's like, and then they like
Mm.
disintegrated into like a mashed potato next to
Mm.
these other vegetables. It was good, but it was like so not, I couldn't serve that to anyone besides myself.
I have so many opinions on potatoes. Like gold potatoes, that's a crock pot potato. I would never put a russet potato in the
Yeah,
crock
and
pot.
yeah, because every time I go to make a crock pot, which is often, I'm like, I don't, which one is this supposed to be? But then I go
The
to the store and I
golds.
just look at them and I'm like, this looks right.
This is a crock pot
Well, and
potato.
I've gotten,
Yes, I should work in the
I
potato
really
business.
liked the little teensy tiny ones. I like to roast those with vegetables because they're like small. But I've gotten burned at Aldi too many times of like I get this little bag and I think it's gonna be good, and then half of them are like moldy.
I got a little thing of cherry tomatoes, and literally half of them were moldy. I was so disappointed.
I got strawberries at the store, and
Then the other half were like
yeah, ew.
wrinkly.
I got conned
And I was like,
at the grocery store. Like I knew I looked at these strawberries and I was like, I know they're not in ideal season. They're not gonna be good, but they looked so good, and I got them, and they looked beautiful, and they tasted like nothing.
terrible. I'm so excited for watermelon
Yeah,
season.
there was watermelons in Walmart the other day. I did not get one, but I was tempted to.
Yeah, I think it's too early, but soon watermelon season will be
Yes.
upon us.
The other thing in North Carolina, and that just reminded me because some of them also grow watermelons. Um, the way the people in North Carolina talk is so different than here. It's always like,
They all have like southern
well, yeah, they
accents
all
or
have
what?
southern accents, and they're all like, well, granddaddy so and so, big daddy so and so. Like, it's just my mama
They,
this, and I don't know.
mm-hmm.
It's like I don't know. It's such a different. Like I feel like I haven't been in a
Yeah,
different southern place where people speak just like the lingo even, and they all grow
yeah.
bacca. You know, it's like you don't say tobacco. It's like oh we're bacca farmers, and you're like what? Per,
Oh, fun.
yeah, there.
Interesting. My mentee in my mentorship program is from Mississippi, and when we start like our conversation, I can hear it a little bit, and then if she like really gets in a role talking about something, she'll like really fall into it, and I love it. I love her little southern drawl.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
also North Carolina, so many trees. Trees everywhere.
I've never been to North
You should go.
Carolina.
Well, technically, I think you have. We went to Myrtle Beach.
Oh, that's in North
No, it's in South
Carolina?
Carolina, but we drove through North Carolina to get there.
Okay, I don't feel like that counts.
Fair, fair. But apparently,
I
yeah,
did love Myrtle
yeah.
Beach
But
though. A place I would go
yeah,
back.
it's like an hour and a half. Raleigh is like an hour and a half to the mountains, and then like an hour and a half to the beach, and then also their price of like their people are definitely moving there because they found this out. It's like
Mm,
a big city with all these close to these different things you can do, and like the housing, it's like gone up with normal inflation, but it hasn't been increasing like all these other places that people are moving to rapidly. And
mm-hmm.
people are like, don't let anyone know. So don't tell anyone. But apparently, it's a great place to move to because, like, while people are pouring in left and right, like, the housing hasn't gone up exponentially with it.
Well, let me tell you, I always said I'd live in New York until I ran out of money, and I fear we're getting towards the
We've gotten
end.
to that point. The time has come.
Inflation, I've been priced out of my groceries. Times are tough. So catch me in North Carolina. I do feel like a lot of people are moving to Nashville
Oh,
too.
interesting. I felt like
A
that was
lot of
like
people,
five
meaning like
years
three
ago.
influencers I follow.
Well,
Um,
so some of the influencers are moving out of LA because they've made laws about how like if your children are in your content, you must pay them. And they're like, hey fam, we're gonna pack up and move so I don't have to pay you. That
I
feels illegal. Like it
know.
feels like it's like, hey, if you're right now in this moment living in a place with this law, you can't just like pick up and move to a place that's gonna like hurt your kids more.
No, I know. I also have read about that. That's
I
not
feel like
good.
it's like a big
Um,
red flag for like any family influencers who are packing up in this moment to move to a different place. It's like, okay, stick around for a year, pretend to pay your kids or something. Like this would
mhm.
so obviously negatively. If I don't consume family content, but if I did, this would be a huge red flag to me.
See, I do consume a little bit of family content. I have two YouTubers. One lives in London and one lives in Australia, though, so this doesn't apply to either one of them. But I actually love when they film their kids, but I also just know them. I mean, I don't know them as people, obviously, but I feel like judging their character, like these are people that are setting aside this money for their children. Like they're not evil
Yeah.
people. There's like no, I don't know. And so I'm not like against sharing children and content and on
Hmm.
socials. Like I think
I think there's a way
I'm
to do
honestly
it.
nosy and
Yeah.
I wish I knew what some of these influencers'
A
kids look
hundred
like,
percent.
to be
Yeah.
honest. Um, yeah, like I'm not against family channels, but like yeah, definitely a red flag if you're like moving to like avoid paying or setting money aside for your
Yeah.
kids. But I feel like you can tell. I don't know. Trust your faves. Like I feel like these two people I follow, like I know that they're setting money aside for their
Yeah.
kids, like
Well, and I know there's like a lot of people who come out and
because
they're
they're
saying
like
like this
decent
is what we
humans.
are setting it like anything that my kid is in, they are getting paid for. I only watched like 2 minutes of the documentary about like the mom who was like abusing her children and like forcing.
Yeah, Ruby
Yeah,
Frankie. I read the book and watched
there
the
was a
documentary.
book.
I'm an expert.
There was a book.
Yeah, her daughter wrote a book.
Oh,
I
get your
read it.
bag finally now. Yeah, I just
I
I saw
know.
like one clip of and it was like the mom was like, I'll give you $10 to be in this video. And I was like, I know what the size of your following, $10 is nothing to you. Um,
Yeah, no, they were making like hundreds of thousands of dollars weeks and months, and they would like give their kids like 50
that's wild. Well,
bucks.
and I understand how it
It's
happens too, because
crazy.
like, even like this is kind of different, but like JoJo Siwa, like her whole family moved to like her business is like this huge engine and like her mom's individually gluing rhinestones on different costumes like to this day,
Hmm.
and so it's like she was supporting her entire family, and it's like if the parents have to quit their jobs to like work for you, like it makes sense that they make some
Hmm.
money. But like at one point I swear she said something like, well, they were giving me 10% or something, and it was like, no, they should be getting 10%. Are you not seeing
Hmm.
what's wrong here?
Yeah. I don't know. But then I see these videos of people that are like, they didn't come from a lot of money. And so when they're like child actors and they're making a lot of money, like less on social media, but more like in the world of child
Mhm.
acting. And I forget who said it, but they were just like being able to like support their family was like truly amazing. And they would never change that for the
Yeah,
world. And so it's like, I don't know, there's like good things that come
for sure. Would love to have that problem.
from
Like I
this
have so
too.
much money pouring out of my ears. I get
I
a
forget who
support.
that
Was
person
it like Josh
was.
Peck or Kiki
No,
Kiki
but
Palmer?
it was Kiki Palmer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, and so like that's really like raising good kids and kids being nice and loving their family is
Yeah.
amazing.
I feel like I've really
Anyways,
steamrolled this
I
whole today.
oh no, no, you didn't. I cannot wait to name this episode Hams,
Yams, jams,
Yams, and
yams
Jams.
and jams. That sounds good. Do you have any exciting plans, Miss Hams, Yams, and Jams?
Well, this weekend is Passover. Let me get
Hey.
my cross stitch.
Kizzy's been cross stitching up a storm. She did some amazing
So,
American Girl dolls. You need to post some
yes, I
pics of you. Did you even post those on your own Instagram?
no,
Share
I'm
your art with the
embarrassed.
world.
No, I was gonna post a story saying, "Imagine hating me," and I'm just at home cross stitching the American Girl dolls. But Passover is this weekend, and I was invited to my friend's Passover, and I really thought I was just gonna get like a nice home cooked meal. But then I got an email about the invitation, and we had to bring um, something that represents freedom to us.
Mm,
And it could be like a poem, it could be like a speech, it could be a piece of artwork. So I'm cross stitching, and um, I don't know much about Passover, and so I watched the Prince of Egypt, iconic film, sexual awakening for many, I'm sure. Um,
it's not what I thought you
it's
were
like
gonna
a,
say.
he's a very attractive cartoon character. Um, but I decided to do baby Moses
Okay.
in the basket in the Nile. And when I started this, I had like really big goals about like doing a lot of
Yeah.
foliage and things. And as the days have passed, I need to get really realistic about what I can do in the next 4 days. And so this will be done. So that's what
Wait,
I'm doing this
is
weekend.
the blue gonna be everywhere? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Amazing.
And Moses will have a
So
face
how does
too.
he represent freedom to you? Or is this just a side quest?
Well,
The freedom to
Moses
cross.
freed the
Oh.
Hebrews.
Okay.
He freed the Hebrews from the Egyptians who were enslaving
Mm.
them. Zoe, read a book.
I figured it was gonna be.
Read. How about you read the Torah? I'm just kidding.
I need to read a book.
Um, and so, anyways, this doesn't necessarily represent freedom
But
for
it
me,
also
as I'm
it
not
represents
Jewish.
that you have freedom from work where you can come home and do your hobbies. It's
Well,
freedom from
and
stress and
we
anxiety
have
because you get to poke things.
well, and
Freedom
freedom to
to
celebrate
freedom to
Passover.
create whatever kind of drawing. And while doing this art, you decided to make some artistic liberties and not do as much detail with your freedom to choose. It's endless.
Exactly. I don't know. I was literally like, I don't know what to do. Um, So that's what
Yeah.
I'm doing. And so just know that every minute I'm not typing on my computer, I am cross stitching so much that my hands get cramped at the end of the
Oh my
day.
goodness.
And I have to like massage
Okay,
my
one
hands.
last thing before we wrap up because we probably need to wrap this thing up. So,
Yes, we've gone on for
Cody
too long.
texted me and was like, "I have to do like a student visit this weekend." And I feel like this probably isn't good because he's like leaving the college he's going to. And so I came up with so many funny quips of like, "Hey, hate this tour?" Or hey, you hate that I'm giving this tour? Don't worry, I won't be here. Hey, do you really enjoy this campus? Great, buy my house. Oh, is your son and daughter moving across the country and you're sad? Well, my house has like a little apartment on it, so you and your kid can move in together. like
I know, it's crazy. I don't think we've told the pod that our brother's moving to Iowa.
Iowa. I can only ever think Iowa is what the cheerleaders do, or at least they did at cheer camp 10 years ago.
I can't wait. Did you know in his new town there's a pie shop that delivers?
No, can't wait to
They just
visit.
sell
That's
pies.
iconic.
I
They have
know.
the exact same temperature that's a USDA something for, which is identical to the town that we live in. So they have like the same climate or whatever for growing things.
Amazing. Okay, well, it's been really fun. Nice catching up with you. Can't wait to do it again next week.
Yes. Bye.
Bye. Bye.